friends. Welcome to episode 3 of my Bible reading series. Today I wanted to do a flip through of my personal study Bible since I did just finish studying the book of Genesis. I wanted to show you guys how my note-taking has changed over the years. And also, I was hoping to do a study with me at the end. So without further ado, let's get to it. So I can't really remember when I started taking notes in my big Bible. I think it was around the time I got married, or maybe around the time we moved into this house. So maybe around 2017, 2018. But yeah, you'll see my aesthetic back then. So basically, I would just use neon highlighters and my first love, the Pilot G2 pens. The way I would do it is use the colors in rainbow order and then use a matching pen color to the highlighter in order to indicate the notes on that verse. So you'll see I didn't have a red highlighter, so I used pink, so red, orange. I guess I didn't have yellow, green, blue, and I didn't have purple either, so then red, orange, green, blue. And then for extra long notes, I had this colorful diamond shaped sticky note that was gifted to me by a sister. And so I think back then I only used Sharpie highlighters. And I don't know if you can see, but the highlighters did bleed through the page. So I think I stopped around chapter 7 or 8 and got back at I can't talk today, and got back at it again in around 2020. And I can tell because there's like a slight change in aesthetic. You can see my writing is a lot less sloppy. I have yellow and purple highlighters now. And then I think the green highlighter looks ever so slightly different or like cooler than the one that I have been using. I don't know if you can tell. I was also using the regular neon post-it notes for my longer notes. And I'm still using the same rainbow order of highlighting and matching my pen color with my highlighter for most of my notes. I also know this was during the pandemic because that's when I started learning calligraphy. So you'll see that calligraphy is starting to be added in my notes. So I think I stopped again because I got impatient. So when I restarted in 2022, here you'll see another change in my notes. I think around this time I was just trying to get through the reading So I didn't take a lot of notes. I would still write down my questions and my feelings, comments when I'm reading. Doesn't look like I did any research or anything like that. You'll also see that I just use one color for each chapter, and I just used red ink for anything that I had to write down. I think the thought was like, I'll use a different color once I do research and find the answer to my questions and stuff like that. But yeah, that didn't last very long. So I think in 2023 is when I started to find my current aesthetic. So at this point, I'm starting to use zebra mild liners as my highlighters. And I have switched to using only black ink for my notes. I am still using the neon post-its, but have added like the neutral grid ones that I got from Amazon. And now we're here in 2024, and this is the year I have become a lot more consistent in my deep Bible reading. And I believe I found an aesthetic that I'm really happy with. It's probably going to change again in the future, but for now, this is it. You'll see that I'm using more muted colored highlighters. And then over here, I'm starting to use different colored inks. So red ones for my questions, the brown ones for my thoughts and feelings, and then the black one is for my research or actual facts that I have found. And I'm also using just neutral colored post-its, and my calligraphy has definitely improved as well. So yeah, guys, that has been like, 5 years in the making? And I finally finished the book of Genesis. If you are going to take away anything from this flip through, is that don't be afraid to just start your deep study of the Bible or note taking in your Bible now. Don't wait until you have like a aesthetic or whatever, because that's probably going to constantly change. And if you wait for that perfect aesthetic, you're never going to start. So just start now. And remember, the most important thing is that you're reading your Bible. And, the more you do it, the more your note-taking style will develop. So anyways, if you're still here, stick around if you want to do a study with me starting the book of Exodus. Hey guys, it's voiceover May. Come study the Bible with me today. First things first, I check what I'm going to read, and I think I forgot to record that part, but usually I use this app to track my Bible reading. It's called Personal Bible Trainer, and that's the one with the little sheep in the picture, but it's so stinking cute. I have it set to a 5-year reading schedule, so I only read about 1 to 2 chapters or less per reading. But yeah, today we are scheduled to read Exodus chapter 1. Alright, next I go to the JW Library app and play the recording of the reading. I usually follow along on my physical copy of the Bible. Around this time, I also bust out my brown pen, which again I use to write down my thoughts, feelings, and comments. I might also bring out my red pen, so that one I use to write any questions I have that might require further research for later. And I also bust out my yellow highlighter. I'm using the Zebra Mild Liner in the color Gold. So I use this color for my initial read-through gems. So anything that I know are important, so like common quoted verses and stuff like that. I'm following a highlighting key now. So I use certain colors for certain reasons or purposes. So you'll see me use a purple highlighter next, or the Zebra Mild Liner in the color Violet. Purple is my favorite color, so I use this to indicate any good examples that I would need to imitate, or any lessons that I would want to personally apply. Now, sometimes one verse can have many different applications, so therefore you can use different colors for the same verse. Now, which color will you pick? Let me know your thought process in the comments below. But I just use whatever I guess feels right at the time of my reading. And if I'm also being totally honest, I use whatever color that hasn't been used, so my page can be a little bit more colorful. Anywho, after reading through the assigned chapter, I read through all the material under the research guide. This kind of helps me sort out the information I want to take note of, and it gives me an idea of how much I'll be writing and kind of plan out my notes that way. I would also be using my orange highlighter or the Zebra Mild Liner in the color Vermilion. And I use these to highlight the new gems that I found, and then I write my research using black ink. So my questions, comments, and short notes are usually written on the outside margins of the page. I kind of have a hard time writing on the inside margins. I think it's like when I'm using a spiral notebook and the bump kind of annoys me. I don't know. But yeah, so I only write on the inside margins when absolutely necessary. So, for example, if I run out of space. If I also have any unanswered questions, need to do some background check on a Bible character, or want to do some extra digging on a subject, I usually go check out the Watchtower online library. And for more trivial things, I turn to Google. This chapter was pretty straightforward, so I didn't have to do any of that. But yeah, guys, that is it for this reading. I wanted to share really quickly the other highlighter colors that I used that wasn't featured in this video. I use the dark blue zebra mildliner to indicate anything I learned about Jehovah, Jesus, and the organization. The red one, that's actually named red, I use for warning examples. And then this next one is what I call green, but it's named smoke blue. And it looks the same as the dark blue from the outside, but they do look different. But anyways, this one I use for any applications to my ministry or the congregation. But yeah, guys, we are done for the day. If you have made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I want to know, do you do anything the same or different in your Bible reading? I'm always looking to improve my routine, so I would love to hear from you too. But again, thank you guys so much for listening to my yapping. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one, hopefully.